start with the session. So we will be recording this session as well. So here we go. So, wonderful. Great to see everyone. Very good morning to one and all. And we are once again glad to connect with all of you from India and from different parts of the world, including Germany. And somebody who has many people, we can see that they have joined early morning as well from all the way from Germany. It's around 7:30 a.m. So, a very warm welcome to everyone for this BDB Book Club session. My name is Jitender Balani, and I will be taking you through our today's session. But before we dive into the session, let me take a moment to introduce BDB India Private Limited. Uh, BDB India Private Limited was founded in 1989, and it's a market research and a business consulting firm. And through its three divisions, that is industrial, healthcare, and agriculture, BDB aims at providing customized business research solutions for its clients in India and globally. The BDB Book Club, for which we have connected today, is a social initiative of BDB and which was started humbly in October 2010. So this is almost a 15th year of our continuation so far. And BDB Book Club so far has hosted some special book conversation or going through different sessions on different topics related to business, economics, leadership, personal growth, entrepreneurship, professionalism, and several such topics which are particularly of interest when we talk about a non-fiction genre of the books. And we have been very fortunate to have interacted with several esteemed authors to share their views and experience on all these subjects that we just mentioned over the years. And some of the revered authors, if I could name, includes Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Dr. Mashelkar, Mr. Ravi Venkatesan, Mr. R. Gopalakrishnan, and Mr. Prakash Iyer. And these are only few names that I could list down. There is a long list as it goes. Um, and as far as, and something which with the presence and continuation support from all the members and participants, just like we see today, we have been continue to maintain the progress and bring out several sessions for you on every month, but typically last Saturday of the month. And I have a note for our all the participants today who have joined and who are very familiar with our how the structure is. But for those who have particularly joined new or are joining for the first time, there is a note that your mic and camera has been intentionally disabled. This is only to ensure that there is a minimal disruptions. Nevertheless, we will certainly be having a Q&A session wherein you can interact with the author and all the members, guests that who are present here. All you need to do is that you can simply use the Microsoft emojis. You can raise your hand. Our team will enable your mic and camera. You can interact with them. Or alternatively, one can also use the comment box to type your questions and chat with us, and we will take the your queries or your suggestions or any kind of an experience that you would like to share with the guest in the order as they appear. So without taking much time, I would also like to sorry, come to our today's session. For our today's session, we have a very interesting book, something that it the book talks about doing business in Germany. Typically, how to work successfully with Germans is the main subtitle that we would be having a conversation on. And we have the author of the book with us as well. She is Miss Andra Riemhofer. She is here with us and has joined early morning. It's around 7:30 a.m. in Munich.
Yeah, it's 7:34 now.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are four minutes into the session, and she's here very excited with a early morning cup of coffee as well. So, a very good morning, Andra, all the way, and a
Yeah.
very warm welcome to BDB Book Club. For the audience, I would introduce Andra. She's an independent business development consultant. She's based out of Munich in Germany, and she has built a unique niche for herself. She helps international technology-driven companies to enter and navigate the German B2B market. And her work is at the crossroads of providing technical understanding, business development, and intercultural communication. And that is something that which is becomes a very powerful kind of an offering for the foreign companies who are looking to succeed in Germany. She holds a university degree in business administration and with a focus on logistics and masters in intercultural communication and cooperation. Since her founding, her consulting business, which was established in 2013, she has worked with several companies in Europe, Latin America, North America, Asian companies, and helping them now to understand German business culture and build longer local relationships so as to avoid any kind of an cultural and strategic pitfalls. Her main focus is on three areas that conducting German market research and consulting, providing sales and business development support, and also offering trade show preparation and on-site support. And so somebody who's actually looking at any of these areas or collectively all three areas, she is the right person. And her book is something which is very interesting, which we are bringing here today, so that she can provide her experience and know-how about how to succeed and work well with Germans. The book that we are going to discuss is a second edition though. Her first edition was earlier launched in 2019, but since then she has also made several modifications and particularly the COVID related aspects and its impact on the work culture has also been a new edition. She is also a university lecturer in subjects such as logistics, material management, and intercultural management across various German universities. She is also a published author and a self-made cartoonist known for her illustrated series Dr. Mueller and Collagen, and something which humorously portrays the very German way of doing business. And today, it is something that we are going to have a conversation on the book where she would cover several topics which would be of audience interest and curiosity, particularly the intercultural differences, business communication styles, what are the do's and don'ts that one should know before beginning their career in Germany or a business with Germans. And also for students is something that we are going to also touch upon. And to help us with this conversation, to take this discussion further, uh, we have a veteran who is familiar with both the cultures, both Indian as well as German cultures, and with a close of 30 plus years of international experience, and somebody who has an exposure to industrial space. We could not have found a better person who is equally passionate about bridging the business ties between the two countries. So please help me welcome Mr. Manoj Barve, who is the India head of BVMW, that is German Federal Association of SMEs. He's the one who actually is a chief guest for our today's session. He would be the leading, he's someone who can actually lead the conversation. He's an expert, somebody who knows the best side and the areas of areas that a Indian firm would actually look at what are the opportunities and taking the best out of it. And to tell you more about Mr. Barve, he is also founded a firm that is Contact India Advisory Services, and with the support of professional associates, only with an aim to achieve symbiosis to great German technology, standardized process innovation, and several concepts, including the green energy related. So please help me welcome Mr. Manoj Barve. He's the chief guest of
Yes.
our today's session, and he would be the one who would be in conversation with Andra on all the relevant subjects and relevant topics which would be of your interest in knowing as to how to work successfully with Germans and also doing business in Germany. So with this, I would like to invite both of you to have a conversation, and you can take this discussion forward, so that today I would like to be a mute person, and wherever it is required I would certainly be participating. And we would then have a session with the audience as well, wherein they can actually have an interactive questions where both of you can answer them. So with this, I would ask and request Mr. Barve and Andra to take it forward. Over to you.
Good morning. Thanks, Jitender. And you cannot be a mute person. You have the timekeeper. So,
Yes,
and otherwise
absolutely.
also you do ask or suggest whatever you want to say. It's not that. It's only I and Andra. Andra, first of all, a very good morning to you.
Good
I know
morning.
it's a early morning on a Saturday. In Germany,
Yeah,
working on a weekend, especially
yeah,
on Sunday. Holy Sunday not allowed, but Saturday also people prefer to relax and rest or do family things and all. So before Anta, we jump into the details of doing business in Germany, I'd like to know from you uh, what motivated you to write the book. There are already a lot of books on international business and cultural differences. Some books on cultural things relating to Germany are also available. So, what makes your book different, and how did
yeah.
you go about it?
Very interesting questions. And by the way, I apologize for bringing a big mug of coffee to this meeting, but as you pointed out, it's quite early morning, so I need also the caffeine. But yeah, what motivated me and how did interesting mix of questions. So in a nutshell, I was asked to write the book. So I have this strong connection to India, by the way, with a half-year apprenticeship with Tata McGraw-Hill in Delhi
Yeah,
in 2001, 2002. And from that time, I'm still in touch with my ex-boss, Mr. Royston Laporte, who is now retired, but who until some years ago was supporting a US publisher, Business Expert Press, bringing authors, onboarding authors. So whenever I'm in India, I meet him for lunch. We are in touch. So one day he said to me, Andra, we have this series of books doing business in XYZ country, and I've seen what you have published online already, and you would be the perfect person to write a book about it. I said, yeah, okay. I mean, anyway, so how to go about it in this industry? You usually write a expose proposal where the publisher would ask exactly such questions. Who would be the target audience? What topics would you like to cover? What books are already there? What's quantities, and what differentiates your book from other books? So looking at it, I found there are a lot of these academic books, also referring to the Hofstede, Hall, Trompenas. Some of you might have come across these names during your MBA or other studies, talking about cultural dimensions, which is helpful in the beginning, maybe, but it's maybe a bit outdated and too stereotypical. And the other things I found is yeah, how to about the culture, the beer, the football. I mean, it's nice to know if you visit a country for a holiday, but it doesn't really help you so much in having
business.
business conversations. So I put that in my proposal, send it to the publisher. By the way, then totally forgot about it and was very busy. 6 weeks later, they sent me a contract that we are happy to publish the book. And I was like, oh my God, that will be so much work. But of course, I had promised, so I did it. And how did I go about it? So what was super important for me is not to publish another book
Yeah,
repeating what others had written. I mean,
mhm.
I'm building on what they have researched, and that is very valuable. And I don't like it when people, for example, on LinkedIn say, this Hofstede guy, this is old-fashioned. But I mean, he has done really a good foundation and should not be undervalued, but I wanted to have something that is up to date, more real life. So I asked people who have a certain perspective on Germany, who can tell, because there is a saying, a fish only notices the water when the fish is taken out of the fish bowl. Or gravity. I mean, you only notice when you fall, never think about it. So for me as a German, although I have studied it, I did my master's, I have my experience working with international companies. Of course, I have a big fundus. Don't know what's it. I mean, I can tap. I have lots of resources to tap into, but still, that is one perspective. So to keep it short, I was asking people like Manoj also has helped very much with it, who have either come to Germany for work or expats, Germans who have been working in other countries, who have a kind of a outsider perspective. And again, I was not asking stuff that was provoking to answer with these common stereotypes or what you read in the book. I was asking questions like, what is it that Germans think is normal, which is still driving you crazy? Or how to make a German happy, how to annoy a German. And these questions were really the answers were very instructive and fun sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I did my PhD recently. It is comparative study of Indian and German SMEs, but it was a scientific study. So there were a lot of references and graphs in my research. So what makes your book different is that it's a combination of both. You know, I mean, you are also giving a lot of information, wealth of background information, including German geography, industrial history, dual education systems, industry associations, regional differences between East, West, North, South. Why is it really important for a person who wants to get into business with a German partner? And knowing this, how does it help, knowing this whole background? And in addition to that, you have really made the book very funny also with your experiences, by sharing your or others' experiences which you have heard or about. But this background information, how does it help?
Yeah. Let me put it in this way. So I'm currently thinking to do a short trip to Japan, because I was invited to a delegation to China, and then I thought it's my 50th birthday at the time. Maybe maybe I should take
young.
1 week off, so to say, and travel to Japan. I never visited there, but still, I mean, I still have this business mind and saying I could explore the country. I wish there was a book like my book. Maybe there is, please, if anybody knows, tell me, which would, in this very compact way, help me understand the country. I mean, what's the geography? Are there regional differences? What are the main cities? What is the industrial history? Because the industrial history so much influences how we do business, what we find attractive in an offer, what we consider normal in communication. What is it what children are taught from their parents? What is proper behavior, normal behavior? And that can often be very small things like, I mentioned this also in my book, are we blowing our nose in public? Are we making noises when we eat? I mean, you have been told by your parents 10 or 15 years, I don't know when they gave up telling you, okay, you consider this proper behavior, then you travel to another country where things are different. And you might perceive, especially if you, I'm talking about the Germans now, are not yet internationally experienced. You have a lunch meeting, you see your Chinese business partner or Indian behave in a way your parents would have said it's not proper. I would assume many people say, okay, she is not professional. How can they behave that way? So this is why I find these small things are super important. Also the history. I mean, I was talking about the industrial history, which also influences the way we look at things, this attention to detail, backup planning. Then also in the first chapter where I talk about the geography, so the setting is you arrive in Germany, you take a cab, you have a conversation with your cab driver. That gives you a foretaste of how blunt Germans can be. That will help you because then if you go to your first business meeting, your German counterpart is behaving in a way that you find very unpolite or even rude. Hopefully you remember my book saying, okay, chill. Maybe that's nothing to do with
It's
myself.
not me, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I also, maybe I should add that, and you are right. I mean, and this is what made the updating of the book really quite time intensive. So what I wanted to present not only data. I mean, data, yeah, you can Google, you can what to do with it. So what I did was also building some stories around, for example, talking about the Mittelstand. So I was researching the top Mittelstand companies, using this table to showcase, for example, don't just look at Berlin and Munich and Frankfurt. Mittelstand is in the remote areas. And of course, everything I write, I have sources, very important. So from this viewpoint, it's almost a bit academic, though I hope it doesn't come across as academic. And then in the end, I realized for somebody trying to enter the German market, it's not only what I write there, but they just have to go to these almost 200 footnotes because you have a lot of sources which you can then use for your own research.
That is absolutely useful. Those resources which you have written behind on the last pages of the book, references, even index. I mean, the topics, everything is good. If you want to refer to a particular topic, intercultural or Mittelstand, you can immediately see on which pages you will find references, or whichever information you have used, you have given references. So to that extent, it becomes a scientific research kind of a book, but then there are a lot of experiences which makes it also very interesting and interactive. You mentioned about the industrial history, but it's not only industrial history, it's about the history also, why Germans tend to be spendthrift, or where the punctuality thing comes from, or perfection, or liking of standards, where why they are environmentally sensitive, and why they are so obsessed with data privacy and data security. So that has been described, and it comes from this background information. But Andra, Germany has always had a good reputation of stable and steadily growing economy and industry, except of those Wirtschaftswunderjahre when it grew during 50s, 60s, early 60s by 8%, 10%. It has been growing steadily. But now it seems to be struggling. It has a lot of challenges relating to economy and demography, skill shortages and all. So under such circumstances, what it means for international business people who are looking for business opportunities?
What does it, in a nutshell, maybe things may take a bit longer than usual. Yeah. So generally, I mean, I would still look at Germany as a market, still interesting. So hopefully perception internationally is not, forget about Germany, not much is happening there anymore. No, I mean, on the contrary. So it depends on your offer. I'm thinking of the COVID times worldwide. I mean, some companies were struggling or had to shut down, and others flourished. So the market is changing. Maybe for German standards, it's changing at a quite high speed, which might be overwhelming some. and also it's interesting. So I was recently invited to a summer festival from also an association. It's called Silicon Valley Europe, not Germany. And there was one speaker also very well connected to government industries, and he said when he talks to the CEOs of the German companies who have a lot to handle right now. You mentioned skill shortage, economy, supply chain, legal stuff, you know what not. And he said he advises read the news once a day, but don't poison your brain with what the journalists write with the amount of bad news. Bad news sells, so that's on top of mind of many. And I would say the same. So looking at the innovation, I attended the Automatica trade show. It's about robotics I think it was in June. I mean, it's overwhelming. It's breathtaking. So coming back to your question, what does it mean? I mean, no matter how the economy is currently flourishing, or maybe a bit slow or a bit even slower, you need to be very target. You need to target the market properly. So Germans, and I hope this also comes across in the book, are not just like, oh yeah, let's give it a try. Oh, there's something new, a nice opportunity. So you need to really precisely prepare your pitch. You should do proper research. Who would benefit from your offer? And when you approach German companies, do it in a way that they can easily grasp why a conversation with you, an initial conversation, should make sense. What is it, what you bring to the table? I think some door openers at the moment, and this is also what I hear from associations or during panel talks at the Automatica show even. So it's currently even less decision makers are asking about the ROI. So when a project is discussed in former times, maybe they said, yeah, but what's the return on investment? Currently, is it how can it help us tackle the lack of skilled human resources? So if you have something to offer in this regard, that could be a good door opener. I mean, we should have a 10-hour session maybe.
No, I mean, I really, I also see that even if German economy is struggling, there are still a lot of opportunities. The technology innovation, Germany continues to be at the forefront. Automotive, some things have gone wrong, but there are many other industries, machine making and tools and automation. A lot of things are happening there. And Germany, or for that matter, India, Germany or Europe for that matter, is aligning more and more towards India. That is also what I see. There is more willingness to reach out to India for sourcing and skilled resources. And you wanted to say something?
Yeah, and that is an important thing. And I had this in a conversation recently discussing cooperation with an Indian company. It was very interesting. So a startup, young guy, he had studied in Berlin. He knows things. And then he brought in, I don't know, was it an investor, a mentor who had worked in Germany maybe 20 years ago. And he was not ready to invest in my consulting. And he said, oh no, why should we work with someone? I know Germany, and I know about the strong automotive industry and the mining and stuff. So two things. I thought, okay, that was 20 years ago. Picture has blurred in the last 20 years. So what you tell me has not even been correct 20 years ago. But anyway, so the strong, it's nice we have that reputation for automotive, which is very well deserved. But as you pointed out, Manoj, Germany is not only about automotive. Of course, you have automotive, then you have the suppliers. They are struggling right now also. But if you have something you can bring to the tables, even for the suppliers, how they can differentiate their business, how they can tap other markets, that's an opportunity, of course.
Yes, of course. And for that, Andra, I'm going to ask you about, on behalf of Indian business people, I'm providing services to Indian SMEs mostly, and my business people in India, especially SMEs, approach me with the question: if there is a database of German companies who are willing to buy particular products or services from India, or they want to do contract manufacturing in India, or looking for JV partners from India, I typically say that this is what we need to do as research or search. You need to use various methods and databases, and prepare a long list based on some scouting, and then prepare a short list based on web search and LinkedIn, uh, and so on. And without these efforts, if you come across someone interesting, it could be only a lucky coincidence. Do you have any better advice than mine for the SMEs?
No, you are totally right. Maybe two things, and I should point out that and this is why I also asked a lot of people to help with the book, because my perspective also concerning certain industries is limited to B2B business, to tech-driven products. For example, when I started working as a freelancer, a project with a South Indian garment producer, super nice person, but it's not my cup of tea, so to say. And that is a different business entirely. So in some businesses, there might be databases where you can waste time and put yourself on the market, compete with 1,000, 10,000 others. So definitely taking a more targeted approach is one thing. And what I tried to point out before also, really spell out what differentiates you. And I would not be too optimistic. I mean, the outsourcing, maybe looking less to China, more to India, definitely. I would say that's there. But I had 2 years ago a project with a European-based manufacturing company, very interesting offer. And the hypothesis of this CEO and owner and founder was German companies don't want to do business with China anymore, supply chain problems, delivery times. They should buy from him, and he has quite reasonably priced capabilities. So this is how we started, and this was not convincing anybody. And then I started connecting with business association in this market. We joined some of their events, and listening to those people shutting the door in our faces with the initial stuff, we realized, okay, what is interesting for German companies? It's the capability to work with ecological materials, bio-based, whatever. So I tweaked the pitch, and we could have meetings.
Wow. Yes, it's very interesting. Yeah. I mean, the focus from Indian perspective is often on the cost, lower cost we can provide at. So it's generally in quality has to match the expectation. And now you are bringing in this topic about ecological. In the same context, and you mentioned in your book that one can obtain great deal of information from relevant industry associations. Can you please provide some examples of this VDMA or VDA, different specific industry associations?
Yeah. I give you some very specific examples. So I had a project or two projects with the chemistry industry, and one was about bitumen emulsion modifier, which I never fully understood what it is. And there is an industry association, Deutsche Asphaltgesellschaft or whatever. And there, who would you find there? You would find probably, I don't remember in this case, a member directory, of course, not with all names and contact details, like you mentioned, data security protection is a big issue, but usually you would find the member directory. In this very case, I got, even free of charge, they sent me, although they usually charge for it, industry reports with really interesting insights on the market size, market growth. And then I gave them a call because I had one question, and the guy took half an hour, and he talked to me, and he said, okay, you should maybe think of this, and giving me really very interesting and specific details that saved us days of work, probably. Another project I remember, I had 3 projects with them. It was about waste incineration, a chemical you use in this industry. And then again, you have, I don't know how many associations dealing with waste incineration. Same story there, nice database, nice member directory. And I could even call them. And if you say, that's interesting, because I came across a study written by somebody on behalf of the industry. Then I gave this guy a call and I said, I'm trying to figure out XYZ. I came across you through the association, which made him probably listen to me. And he explained, and he said, if you have more questions, you get back to me, no worries.
No, it is very interesting, because the specific industry associations are quite helpful. And perhaps BDI is the umbrella organization, and if you visit BDI website, you get information about the specific industry associations also. And coming to the next topic about trade fair, when I work with Indian clients, a typical, say, large size manufacturing SME, for their internationalization strategy, I advise them that the best way to start is by visiting the suitable trade fair in Germany, where you can meet multiple interesting partners at one location. And most of those trade fairs, their websites also have databases of participants or last year's participants, etc. And then I often hear that they have visited Hannover Messe multiple times. It has been very interesting and very impressive, but not productive for them. Am I wrong in emphasizing on the visiting trade fairs?
No, again, you're right. Very good advice, definitely. And I hear the same thing when I talk about trade shows, when I tell people you should come, you should first visit, then consider exhibiting. Yeah, we've been to Hannover Messe. And when I ask, and what else? No, Hannover, that's the biggest. And I mean, Germany, we are really, or have been for many years, world leaders in international trade shows. And we have, Germans love specialization, very specialized trade shows. For example, if you are in the machine building industry, you have Achema for process industry. Depending what you are doing, look at Automatica trade show every 2 years. There is an exhibition in Friedrichshafen all about automation. If I don't mix up shows now, I think also annually. It's smaller, very specific trade shows, but this is usually, if you find the right fit, and even on that I give advice and link to a database from the German Trade Fair Association. So understanding what is it, what you offer, who would need that, and find a specific trade show. That is one thing, and there are plenty. And then the next thing is preparation, and especially for the exhibitors. These things have gotten better over the years, according to my perception. Like 10 years ago, I saw so many small booths from international exhibitors who often come with some associations, which is convenient, of course, but then you have a cluster of, I don't know, China, India, Brazil, Bulgaria, whoever, but then you are in a hall that is not really fitting what you are offering. I mean, if you have some software solution and you are in the components hall, that doesn't really make so much sense. And then very often it's underestimated that you really need to bring the exhibits, do some upfront advertising. So just going there, spending thousands of euros or lakhs of rupees, that doesn't do the job. You really have to work on this event and to attract visitors upfront to the show and then during the show.
Absolutely. Upfront, during the show and even after the show, after you go back.
Yeah. That's the most. Yeah.
And you have mentioned it in your book. There again, in Germany, there is a umbrella organization which is AUMA, AUMA, and AUMA has a huge database of trade fairs which are national, international, national, regional, and which products and all that information can be filtered, and you can go through and decide which trade fair is more suitable for you. Let's come to some hands-on tips, and for someone who is looking to collaborate with German partners. What would be your advice for someone preparing for their first meeting with a German company? And the trade fair, or if they are invited, or whichever.
Yeah, so preparation is key. I mean, not in the sense of learning a pitch by heart or stuff like that. I don't think that would be appreciated, but there is not that culture of, let's just sit together and get to know each other and we'll figure out something. And I'm referring to experience also with people from South America, you mentioned, where it's maybe more common to say, okay, this is this person, I know them through somebody, let's visit them, get to know them, discuss. So you need to be really specific about what you can offer. Be punctual. Yeah, that means, I mean, be there in advance. So if the meeting is at 1 o'clock, better arrive 10 to 1, go to the reception, say meeting with we are already here. I mean, that's it sounds like a no-brainer, but I come across it too often that it's not really that way. Be prepared to the German directness.
Yeah, that you mentioned in the book. It can sound blunt or harsh. So what is, how can one, I mean, how it is reflected in business discussion, and what is your advice on that?
I mean, to know about it, that Germans like to be super blunt, or I mean, just spell it out. That for us it's normal, it's appreciated. We don't like it if somebody is beating around the bush. And if somebody, like for example, I also ran into this in India, even after half a year, where I was asking for something and then somebody said, yeah, that might be difficult, or we do our very best, or let's see, yeah, probably. I didn't get it, was a no. So one thing is, if you in a very, for you, maybe normal, polite way, say no. The German might not get it. You need to say no. Other thing is, if you say no problem, if trying to bring across, yes, I heard you, interesting. If a German asks for something and you say no problem, they think that was a yes. So that is big misunderstanding. Business meeting, one other thing I would like to highlight. And Germans loving specialization and being specific. What is something I often encounter when a discussion, then the German is hesitant, says no, asks more specific question. The counterpart might understand, okay, that is a no. They are not interested in A, which I just presented. So let's pitch B, let's pitch C, which now I'm exaggerating, my brother-in-law is doing. Okay, so that is something Germans do not appreciate, because then they think, okay, he's just doing everything. Why? That's a distraction.
Yeah. Okay, let's. The time is limited, so let's come to the negotiation. Indians are generally very optimistic, aggressive, and willing to close a deal as soon as possible. And Indian focus is often on price. Let it be about entering into a JV or supplying components or services. What would be your advice? Apart from this, Indian business people complain that Germans are very slow in responding or making decisions. So there are two questions. Yeah. I mean, Indians who are very eager and want to focus more on price, and second is slow responding from Germany.
Yeah, you need to bring patience to the table. So what I would advise against is pushing too hard. So please do not then follow up with email, in parallel LinkedIn, in parallel WhatsApp, especially not on weekends. So you need a bit of patience. Of course, maybe you're not the only one bidding. Other people are also there. Of course, you need to be a bit pushy in the sense. You can bring a nice reminder related to your offer, saying, by the way, we are exhibiting at XYZ show. Would you also be there? There we could meet. I mean, building trust. And Germans have a lot of what if questions that need to be attended. And recently, that was interesting. I had a conversation with somebody from BMW, a French guy in supply chain management, and he was talking about negotiating with a German team. And he said, oh, it was very difficult and it took so long time and this and that. And their perception was that the German counterparts wanted to decrease the price or something else. And my first guess was, maybe they still had questions which you did not sufficiently attend to. And he looked at me and I said, yeah, we figured that out in the end. That was the case.
Okay.
So that is something you could emphasize. I would say whatever questions are there, not give them the feeling, oh, that's not important, or let's cross the bridge once we reach it. You can say, yeah, that is really interesting question. We appreciate it. We'll take care of it. Might take some time, and then maybe the German says, okay. Even for me, it was not so important, but they are taking care of this detail. Good supplier. And then also, Manoj, you have to tell me if I'm talking too much.
No, it's okay.
This really, again, the attention to detail, and detail can be if you supply, if you give a quote, take care, it's flawless. I'm not saying Germans don't make mistakes. I was recently advising a client about this issue, and then I noticed in my email I did a typo. So it can happen. But if you are quoting, try to get the commas right, the names, don't put a pixelated logo. I know in many cultures where it's more on personal trust building, conversation, where people, it's maybe not so important for Germans, needs to be flawless, PDF.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, as you have also mentioned in the book, for Germans, in case of, say, negotiations of a product or so, the specification, quality, technology, that matters first. And the last 5 to 10% is about the price. Or in case of joint venture, matching of mindset and having common vision is more important. So it takes long, but doesn't matter. And why should Indians be patient? Is also suggested that typically Germans are stay loyal. I mean, it's a true partnership. Margins are pretty high, prices are not negotiated or reduced every year, and you become a partner rather than just supplier or customer. So
Correct.
your advice about being patient is very, very important.
If I may add one small, it's not a detail, but it's crucial. I mean, the way we build the trust, and usually you get a small order, you do that right, give the other person the opportunity to get to know you, how you handle complaints maybe, and then it increases. And like you pointed out, Manoj, Germans are then loyal, and it starts slow, but then it's long term, and they would not just forget about you because some other guy comes who's 3 cents cheaper.
Exactly. That's true. So now within limited time, again, you have added a chapter to your book, How to Make or Break Your Career in Germany. So why this chapter? This chapter was not in 2019 edition, I think. So why have you added it now? And what can you briefly summarize your advice to the Indian young professionals who are working in IT or engineering or in other domains in Germany?
So the reason is, I mean, I was thinking I should update the book at some time, but then I thought, no. Anyway, but people keep on writing to me. Even last night, somebody wrote to me and said, oh, I read your book, I enjoyed so much. And there was this one guy on LinkedIn who wrote to me about 1.5 years ago, and he said, I recently moved to Germany for work, and I read your book now. It has helped me so much understand the dynamics in my office. Had I only read it before I came to Germany, it would have saved me lots of headaches and stuff. But now I read it and I very much enjoyed it and appreciate the advice. And then I realized, wow, and I have a lot of international friends, experts. That is something where my work can really help. And this is why I said, although the book is really focusing on business people, I realized lots of experts are reading it. So I put the chapter. So what would I advise? And many of the other things I said, learn about the culture, what is normal, what is considered normal, how do people communicate, regional differences, and so on and so forth. The other thing is there is that thing called culture shock. So I'm explaining what is it, what can trigger it, explaining it's not you if you're feeling at times depressive, nobody likes you, your colleagues are all rude, nothing to do with you. And I'm giving also tips how to make friends in Germany. And what not to, I mean, how not to kill your career by certain mishaps that you might not realize not knowing the culture.
Correct, absolutely. Culture, I mean, they already have a job, they are working there. So the understanding of the culture, integrating without losing your identity, that is what is very important for career as well as to integrate in the society. Coming to the end, as being German discussion, we have to finish it on time. Otherwise, Jitender will unmute himself. What is
we are well on time.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you tell us about any memorable reaction you have heard from your readers from this book or 2019 edition?
I mean, memorable. So several occasions, but what I'm proud of, I have one ex-colleague from this time in Tata McGraw. She's an editor. I know she's the most critical person when it comes to books. And recently I met her, and I always thought she might not have liked it. She bought it, and she told me I was instantly drawn into the book. So that made me very proud. Another thing, I attended Delhi World Book Fair in 2002. I remember this, and now the book is distributed in India by Trough publishers and distributors. And I was really overwhelmed when I saw their poster. They have publishers like Rheinwerk, O'Reilly, No Starch Press. So the IT and engineering guys of you, they may be very familiar. And they featured my book together with 19 or 24 other books of these renowned publishers. So that was one of my proudest moments.
Excellent. And we'll, of course, have a lot of questions soon from Indian businesses, especially, I hope, from SMEs and professionals, and also perhaps students, which Jitender mentioned. The number of students has grown from 5,000 to 45,000 now per year. But before we get into that, Andra, finally, how will you sum up your advice in 4 or 5 points about doing business with Germans? I mean, it's very difficult, I can imagine. But what are, say, 5 things which you need to take care of? Just to repeat it.
Yeah. In a nutshell, I hope that doesn't come across odd if I say read my book. That would be the most important advice. No, really. Yeah, do your homework. Don't get disheartened. Does that word exist?
Yes, yes. Before by the directness, or
and
not to take personally, but
absolutely. Genau. Build on your strengths. Don't think that price is all okay. I mean, people. It's not that Germany is so rich that they can spend whatever money they have. Not at all. But don't focus too much on price. First, talk about quality, about being reliable, what you bring to the table, your experience, and then talk about the price. And talking about the price, don't do this. We don't have this culture of negotiating.
Bargaining.
Yeah, I mean, be realistic when you pitch. We don't have this culture of saying, okay, that was just a first price, and now we try to negotiate down 50%. That's not there.
Yeah, that is very important, because we typically Indians like to bargain. So start at a high level or low level and then try to meet somewhere in the middle. But that is, I have also experienced, it's not there. Be reasonable, and yeah. So that has been your advice and based on your experience. So thanks, Andra. As German discussion, we are pünktlich or on the time. And I thought that I know a lot about Germany, and I read the book also. But again, today I learned quite a few new things. Thank you again. Back to you, Jitender.
Yes, thank you so much. I think quite an engaging session. Loved it. I mean, just to set up the context of our today's session for the audience to interact with you, I think that has been a fantastically gone well. And of course, we are sharp on time also. And as I was expecting, there would be that since there is a mix of crowd, they would be expecting some multiple questions, and there are already questions coming up. I would just first take up the